Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks for checking out today's video, much appreciated. Today we're going to be talking about paddle tails that are on swim baits, as far as the different size, what they do, what their applications for, situations they work in. Sort of give you guys just a good little seminar on paddle tails here. So real quick guys, if you're interested in any paddle tail swim baits or any other tackle you can imagine, please check out Baitworks here in Springfield, Missouri. I'll put the link in the description. You guys can check out their online catalog. They got everything you could possibly want. It's a good way to support the channel out if you use that link. Much appreciated. Okay guys, paddle tails, they sort of came about into their own about, man, it's probably been close to 20 years ago. Prior to paddle tails, you had basically a lot of curly tails. That was when you're talking about swim baits like grubs, which were the early swim baits. You had just a curly tail grub forever. And then Bastrix, I don't know if you guys remember, I believe that Bastrix was one of the first companies that came out with the paddle tail. And I remember we were fishing that Toyota Classic down at Lake Fork. It was a team deal, and I was paired with Luke Clausen and I can't remember, Edwin Evers maybe, I can't remember who that was. But anyway, that was the first tournament where the paddle tail swim bait came out, and guys like Jay Yellows were just whacking them on that thing, and they were hard to get. You could not get them anywhere. I mean, people were you know, they'd have one or two of them they got from somebody, and they were gluing them together, and that sort of started the craze, because after that Toyota Texas Bass Classic down at Lake Fork, that's when the cat was out of the bag on it, and it's never slowed down since then. There's every company out there has got a paddle tail, and they have different sizes of paddle tails. So let's talk a little bit about the characteristics of different sizes. There's two different elements when you're talking about a paddle tail that you have to consider. There's the water displacement and the vibration, and then there's the sight. Those are the three elements that trigger a bass to hit it. Now, water displacement is basically caused by profile and action, and along with water displacement is you have the vibration. Bass, as you guys know, they have a ladder line. They can sense the tiniest vibrations in the water, guys. So if you figure that a bass can find and eat a minnow at midnight in the pitch black dark just because of the vibration in the water displacement, you can imagine what a larger paddle tail, as far as the amount of vibration and water displacement that it has. It brings the fish from a long distance away. Therefore, the times that you want to use a larger profile paddle tail, like the larger swim baits, are times when the water's a little bit off colored. I don't mean dirty, because swim baits aren't that great in dirty water, but I consider like around 2 feet visibility. 1.5 feet, 2 feet is about minimum I like for a paddle tail swim bait. But the larger sizes will work better then, simply because of that water displacement and vibration. Also, if you're fishing deeper water, so say for example you're putting one of those paddle tails on a 3/4 ounce head and you're dragging it down a ledge or down a point, this is another reason you want the big tail on there, because that vibration in the deeper water will pull those fish from a greater distance to hit it. So as the size goes down, so does your water displacement and your vibration. So as you get to smaller swim baits, say for example if you're using a 6-inch Megabass Mag Draft, then you drop down to a 3-inch Megabass Spark Shad that also has a paddle tail, or the bigger, smaller Kitech swim baits, the amount of water displacement and vibration goes down tremendously. Now that's still a factor. Even though those tails get smaller, the bass can still pick up on them. So they're still effective to some extent in a little bit of off-colored water. But as your tails get smaller, they become less effective in deeper water and dirtier water, unless you have extremely clear water, which is the other element, which is the sight element. Now, paddle tails wiggle a lot, and they move a lot, and they go side to side a lot. And this is a visual strike deterrent. Now, bass will bite a lure based upon a lot of different abilities that they have. They have a sense of sight. They have a sense of, they can pick up vibration. They can smell. A lot of different factors there. So when you're talking about fishing a swim bait in cleaner water, even a smaller one, you're capitalizing on that sense of sight for a fish, especially if you get into water clarities that are like over 4 foot. This is when they're really, really critical. If you're dealing with a clear water environment, like you guys that fish smallmouth up north, or lakes here in the Ozarks or out west or whatever, if you're fishing a little 3 or 4 inch swim bait and you've got 4 to 6, 8 foot visibility, the action of that bait is going to pull a fish from a long way away. And this is another reason why these things are so effective, because once a bass senses a lure, say you cast your little 3 inch megabass spark shad out there, it loops in the water, it gets the fish's attention, he swims over to it from maybe 30 foot away from where it hit the water, and then he senses that, he's sensing the vibration as he gets closer, and as he gets closer, then the sight reaction kicks in and they get right up to that bait. And since that tail's wiggling like that, it looks like it's lifelike, that's when they grab it like that. And this is one of the reasons why paddletail swim baits are one of the most highly effective lures for catching bass or any other game fish there are, because it capitalizes on that vibration, water displacement, and the visual side attractant. So main thing with it, guys, as far as just an overview with it, you're going to do a lot better on the smaller tails as the water gets cleaner. You're going to do better on the larger tails if the water has a little color to it, or if the water's a little bit deeper, or sometimes if you're pulling these fish off the edge of cover. Sometimes if you're fishing like the edge of a grass bed, if you're fishing off the edge of a dock or cover, sometimes that bigger tail and the aggressiveness of it will pull a fish out of cover to hit it there. So anyway, that's just sort of a foundation. There's a lot more elements to it as far as color and retrieve and that, but I just wanted to sort of give an overview. So anyway, guys, hope you all are doing good, and talk later. See you.